Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas. Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado.
Because this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness!
Hello, everyone. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Nathan.
Welcome to episode 135 of Adventures and Mousecapades.
This week, we have a little bit of family business to attend to. One of our dear listeners, perhaps arguably one of our dearest listeners. Hi, Mom. I'm talking to you. I got a tattoo. And
His tattoo cherry is popped.
Yes, that's right. I'm no longer a tattoo virgin. I just, I may be nearly 47 years old, but I wanted to make sure that you, I told you. Sorry I didn't tell you in person, but I love you, and I'm still the same me.
This is number 4 for me.
Alicia and I got matching tattoos.
Yeah. Well, coordinating tattoos.
Coordinated, yes.
Yeah.
I have Wally on my arm.
And I have Eve.
Yeah, and it is the scene from the movie Wall-E, of course, where they are flying around through space, and Eve is spinning around and has their little circles coming out from behind her, and Wally is jetting around the universe with the aid of a fire extinguisher. So
It's cute.
It is super cute. So yeah, I'm very, very pleased, very happy.
Now that you have that confession off your chest, Nathan, what are we talking about today?
Today, we are going to talk about our hopes and predictions and dreams for D23, specifically for the Parks and Experiences panel that we're going to be attending in a couple weeks at D23. We are going to make some guesses and some predictions on what exactly they're going to announce at D23, specifically with the parks and cruises and all the rest of that good stuff. So, without further ado,
We should say what D23 is.
Oh, yeah, I mean, everybody should know that, right?
Yeah, no.
No.
D23 is basically Disney's fan convention. If you've heard of Comic-Con, this is like that, but for Disney. There's all sorts of panels and seminars and lots of shopping and extravaganzas, spectaculars, stuff like that.
Yes, this year it is in Anaheim, California at the Convention Center. And what is new for this year is they are going to have evening big shows happening over in the big sports arena there, the Honda Center, kind of think of basketball / hockey arena kind of thing. And we're going to be part of the fun there. We have tickets for all 3 nights. And obviously tickets for all 3 days of the convention as well. And we are super excited to be down there.
Usually this is where Disney announces their big things, like if there's park expansions or new cruise ships or big new movies coming out, stuff like that.
Yeah.
They usually announce it at D23 in Anaheim. They do have a D23 Expo in Florida as well. They kind of rotate back and forth. In Anaheim, then the next year Florida, then the next year Anaheim. And the one in Anaheim is usually the big announcements. But the last one in 2022 was full of not big announcements.
Yeah.
And a lot of, hey, what do you think would happen if we did this? A lot of what they call blue sky ideas, nothing specifically concrete, which made a lot of people a bit frustrated and unhappy.
Yes. This is probably the epicenter of the Disney fan universe. And unfortunately, there was a little bit of disappointment with the lack of firm ideas and exactly what they were going to do. So in the meantime, in the last intervening couple years, Disney has made a bunch of announcements. Disney most recently has committed to spending $60 billion in the next decade on parks and experiences. And we expect to hear a whole bunch about what exactly that $60 billion is going to get us. So
Hopefully.
yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Hopefully. That's the plan anyway. We're debating on whether or not we're going to make a drinking game out of the phrase blue sky. And it's hopefully...
We'll be in the Honda Center. I don't know if we can make a drinking game.
I don't know. Maybe the concession stand will be open.
Oh, okay. Hey, drinking game.
There you go. Well, let's start with the parks, shall we? And specifically, let's start here on the West Coast.
West Coast parks.
On the West Coast, yeah. What do you think they're going to talk about at Disneyland?
At Disneyland, I think we are going to get an opening date for Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
Okay.
And I'm hoping we get some information on Disneyland Forward.
Yes. What is Disneyland Forward for
Disneyland
those?
Forward is basically the expansion of Disneyland. That's pretty much all we know, is that there's going to be an expansion in Disneyland. We don't know what it's going to entail. It very recently got approved through the city of Anaheim. Now, because it was so recently approved, I don't know how much concrete work we're going to have on this, but I'm hoping we get something.
Yeah. This may be where the drinking game takes off.
Yeah.
And we have some more blue sky discussions, but effectively they're going to take a bunch of land that is currently parking lots around the Disneyland Hotel and potentially some of the bus areas over on the corner of the Esplanade, and basically, in theory, what everybody's thinking, well, maybe not everybody, but what many people are thinking is that those will turn into expansions of Disneyland Park and of Disney's California Adventure Park. We don't think they're going to be building a third gate. In other words, there's not going to be a third ticketed park. We all could be surprised, but I don't think there's quite enough room to do that. But who knows?
There has been mentions before of Pandora coming to Disneyland. So maybe we will get more information on that. I'd love to see Zootopia over there, or Arendelle, or any of the stuff that they brought recently to Tokyo Disney Sea.
Yeah. Can we just take a copy and paste? Like, as much as I don't want...
Yeah.
But we want those. They've done so well with those things from what we've seen. Obviously, we haven't seen it in person.
Yeah.
But from what we've seen online through some, YouTube videos from folks, and it looks so amazing over there. I could do without Pandora personally, but that's just me.
But it's a moneymaker, apparently. We're just one of those, or we're just some of those people that don't really care too much for that IP.
Yep. Very true. Anything specific for California Adventure, you think?
Disney likes to do a lot of little mini announcements leading up to D23. And there have been a couple of mini announcements that have happened, like Deadpool and Wolverine are now visiting at the Avengers campus in Disneyland. And I really hope that they are still there. Sorry, at California Adventure. And I really hope that they are still there when we get down there.
Agreed.
There's still no mention, or has been no mention, of the e-ticket attraction, the big, huge attraction that they're supposed to build in Avengers Campus. So it'd be nice if they did something. They've been hinting at it for the past 5 years.
Yeah, that feels like something of a caliber that they may be able to concretely announce that they're going to build something, whereas you're going to have some theoretical thinking of what Disneyland Forward may look like. Disneyland Forward's a big deal. I don't see them being able to ignore talking about that, but hopefully they can talk about, the big ride that's supposed to be coming for Avengers Campus. Obviously, they just opened the merch shop for the ride that doesn't exist yet, which is in that building that's supposed to be, the headquarters building. This is the same building where they do all their theatrical fights and all the rest of that stuff on that they greet people above from. So we'll see. Now, you also wrote down here that maybe we'll get a new Doctor Strange and his little Sanctorum show. I don't think so. I don't think
they built that area specifically for his show. And now there's nothing there.
I don't disagree with that, but if you only have a quoted 90 minutes to talk about spending $60 billion.
Yeah, okay.
Now, we all know there's no way they're going to stick to 90 minutes. This is going 2 hours easy.
Yeah.
But there's no way that replacing a little one-person show with some other little one-person show centered around Doctor Strange, that doesn't meet the caliber of things that I would expect to get announced here.
Okay.
That may be something, we've heard from lots of other journalists in the area and people who follow the news side of Disney a lot closer than we do, that they love to eke things out in the week or two before D23. I could see this being an announcement that we hear in the next 10 days before D23 actually kicks off. We'll see.
What about announcing a show at the Hyperion Theater there, though? Would that be big enough?
Now, we're talking about a Broadway kind of show. Maybe.
The last thing that they had there was Rogers the Musical last summer, which was for a extremely limited amount of time, and I don't know why.
Oh, we're going to see that come to Disney Cruise Line on the Destiny.
You think so?
I do.
You're
Yeah.
skipping ahead.
Sorry.
You did not hear that. Okay, so maybe they'll announce a new show at the Hyperion, or will that be something that they'll announce later?
That may be something later. Again, I mean, we're only talking about like a 30 to 45 minute show. This is in a theme park that you've already spent close to $200 to get into for the day.
Yeah.
People's appetites to sit there for a theater show are going to be frankly small unless it's something incredible that has a lot of movement behind it, like we saw with Rogers the Musical. I would love for them to put something into the Hyperion Theater. But again, I think what I'm expecting out of D23 is big, capital, expensive projects. And a new Broadway style show in the theme park is not what it is. Now, if you were going to demolish that whole side of California Adventure and rebuild it as something else into some new themed land, sure. I don't think that's going to be what's going to happen. But
Maybe. Not where Hyperion Theater is, that over farther a little bit, like where Award Wieners is, where the Monsters Inc. ride is. I can definitely see them doing something over there, because there is nothing over there right now. That may be part of the Disneyland Forward stuff, though.
That's fair. All right. Maybe we'll just have to see how we do.
All right. Anything else for the West Coast parks?
I don't think so. I'm with you. I think it's too early for them to really start talking about specifics for Disneyland Forward. I think they look at what Universal has done with Epic Universe and their build out in Florida, and how they have largely been building a theme park, and we're still a year out and we're only starting now to get some announcements about what's going on. And they've been working on that site for 2 or 3 years already. I think Disney's going to do more of that kind of thing where it's, our employer does the same. We've learned over the years, sometimes it's better to not do a pre-announce about something to get people hyped up so far in advance that they start having expectations, or you set expectations that in the end your budget can't meet. I think they're going to temper what they talk about with specifics, unless Disneyland Forward has been on the books and in Imagineering and has moved forward to the point where they're ready to lay down some specifics. And I think you had it called right. Those specifics, if they're ready to talk about, would be something like, hey, we're bringing the world of Arendelle here. Hey, we're bringing Pandora or Zootopia here. I think that level of general, hey, these are going to be the lands that we're going to do in Disneyland Forward is a potential. Are they going to talk about specific rides and details? Probably not, because I think we're 4, 5, 6 plus years out from some of these things opening, and you've got multiple major D23s, and I say major because it's the one every other year in Anaheim. You're going to have 2 or 3 of those happen before this stuff opens. So too early.
Okay. Moving on to the East Coast parks, starting with Magic Kingdom.
Yep. So the big one here is, I think they're going to talk about Big Thunder Mountain, specifically Beyond Big Thunder Mountain. Now, again, I think we have the same problem in that this is just starting to get off the ground. I don't think they are ready to talk specifics, maybe some generalities about some lands. I think this is where your blue sky drinking game may get you in trouble again.
I'm trying to think of when they first mentioned Beyond Big Thunder Mountain, if it was in 2022 or if it was last year. I think it was 2022, where they basically said, "What if we did something beyond Big Thunder Mountain?"
Yeah, literally. And that's
Okay,
kind of
what
all they
if?
said.
Yeah.
And they had like this pretty picture that, I think that's where we saw the villain's land. That
Oh gosh, I hope so. Please, I want a villain's land so bad.
I know. I'm
So does everybody else.
Yes. Effectively, what Beyond Big Thunder as a project is going to do is ruin my favorite fireworks spot to watch, Magic Kingdom Fireworks there in Florida, which is at the exit queue or the exit of Big Thunder Mountain. And it's right on the water. It's just glorious. There's hardly anybody else back there. It's fantastic. So what they're going to do and what people are expecting is there is a whole expansion pad across the river, across the water from that. And we are expecting that is where a whole bunch of stuff is going to go. Like maybe a land, maybe a couple lands, we will see. So expecting big things. Again, I think it's going to be too early for them to go into hard specifics. I think they have an opportunity to potentially do the same thing that we talked about just a few minutes ago with Disneyland Forward, of maybe Arundel's going to come here. We know Pandora's not going to go there because Pandora is already over in Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
So maybe this is where Zootopia lands, or lots of other things.
Zootopia is going in Animal Kingdom. Well,
no,
the tree, it's part of it is.
The show in the Tree of Life that is currently a Bug's Life is going to be, well, I don't remember if this has been announced now that I'm talking about it. Everybody is assuming that show is going to turn into Zootopia show.
I thought that had been announced. I don't know.
It may have.
Yeah.
Again, we are not your news source, folks.
Yes.
We are riffing off the top of our heads from what we've heard and remembered. And it's been a long day. We just got tattoos. Like, give us a break.
I just hope they do a lot of stuff at Magic Kingdom. I mean, that park doesn't really need more stuff, but because that's the main one that people go to.
But I would argue that's where they could soak up capacity.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be in Magic Kingdom during the big holidays and all the rest of that stuff.
Yep.
And if you're going to increase capacity by 20-25% by adding a land or two back there, Disney's going to look at that for the dollars and cents that is. That is more ticket revenue because you can sell more tickets for those super popular days.
True. All right, Epcot.
I don't know that we're going to get a whole heck of a lot here in Epcot.
They just redid.
Exactly. They're just finishing up their major refurb. They've done a lot. Walcott's down. They just took down Test Track. They're revamping that with a renewed partnership with Chevrolet or GM, whatever. It's all the same. I don't think we're going to get much. I'd be surprised if we got anything at Epcot.
Yeah, there's still stuff that hasn't been refurbished at Epcot that needs to be. Like there's that whole huge Wonders of Life pavilion, which is the pavilion between where Guardians of the Galaxy is and the space ride. What's it called? Mission Space.
Mission Space.
Mission Space. And the Space 220 restaurant. There is a very large gold dome in between those two areas where it was eventually going to be turned into the Play Pavilion. I don't know what was going to go in there, but it used to be the Wonders of Life Pavilion. They've used it for some of the festivals as a festival space. They've had like stuff for food and wine in there. I remember they had like some wine tastings in there, some culinary things in there.
They had a festival merch shop in there before all the new merch was available. All the new merch locations were available. Yeah.
And
it's a big
just
space.
Not being used. So what are they doing with it?
Who knows?
I don't think, I'd love to hear, but I don't think we will.
I don't think this warrants what's going on here. Or at least I don't think that's going to warrant a mention.
Yeah. Especially because they just did so much in Epcot.
Exactly.
Maybe we'll get a Spaceship Earth reimagining. No.
I mean, They said that before the pandemic.
I know.
They said that they were going to refurb it before the pandemic. And then the pandemic happened and that whole project fell off the table.
A lot of stuff fell off the table. Mr. Prior Bob, in between Bob,
The old Bob.
cut a lot of stuff.
He did. I mean, it was the right decision at the time.
Yes.
I love Spaceship Earth, but good grief, does it need an overhaul? Like,
It does.
It is tired. It absolutely needs it. I don't know that they would take down Spaceship Earth and Test Track at the same time. There aren't a ton of rides in Epcot. I think at this point, and this is just coming to me off the top of my head as I'm thinking through it, I think we'll see an announced refurb for Spaceship Earth happen next year or the year after. I forget how long they're saying Test Track is going to, the refurb's going to go through.
I think they're around 18 months or so.
Yeah. So maybe next year, as Test Track is going to be coming up on 6 months to open, maybe next year we get an opening date for Test Track reopening and an announcement that that long delayed and very much needed refurb for Spaceship Earth is coming.
Yeah.
I think that's possible, especially since D23 or whatever they call the Florida version. It's D23 Expo is in Florida next year.
Yep.
That gives them something to announce. Hollywood Studios.
There is an area of Hollywood Studios that needs some serious work.
Well, it just isn't anything. It's a big gray building with a bunch of posts and outside walkways. This is the animation courtyard area. There's historically been a whole bunch of stuff over there. Disney Junior's over in that space. The
Star Wars Launch Bay.
Exactly. Launch Bay is over there. Which is really awkward because you basically have Star Wars on opposite ends of the park these days. It's a little weird.
There's like three different Star Wars areas in Hollywood Studios.
Right. There are. You're right. You're not wrong.
Now, the Star Wars Launch Bay is where you can see any and all the characters.
Right. This is where you get your Wookiee hugs.
Yeah. It doesn't. Well, you can get Wookiee hugs over in Batuu as well in Galaxy's Edge, but you cannot get Darth Vader in Galaxy's Edge.
Very true. Now they need to let that go, but that whole timeline thing of Galaxy's Edge, just come on. Nobody's gonna be upset about your timeline for the land. Just Elsa had it right. Let it go.
Let it go. Now, the Little Mermaid ride is also over there, and Disney did announce that they are going to redo that. And I was surprised that they did that and not announce anything else that's happening over there. Because they could just take that entire area, raise it, or do whatever, and create a whole other land. But
a whole new world?
A whole new world. Shining, shimmering, splendid. But because they announced the new updated Little Mermaid show, I'm like, what? Now what are they going to do?
I think there's space over there beyond that too.
It's a very large area over there. It really is.
If you look at where Animation Courtyard, I think you can go beyond that, like behind it.
Beyond Animation Courtyard.
I mean, the reason it's to be called Beyond Big Thunder is because they're keeping Big Thunder. Animation Courtyard can go. I would like to see a Pixar land over there, specifically Toy Story, or excuse me, specifically Radiator Springs. That would be cool.
They've already got Andy's Backyard over there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Different IP. That's why I don't think it's going to be a Pixar general thing. I think if you take something on the order of Radiator Springs, I don't know that you put racers in because you already have that ride in Test Track there in Florida.
Yeah.
But maybe there's something else that they can do. I don't know.
They do already have a Cars attraction in Hollywood Studios behind Rock and Roller Coaster.
Indeed, they do.
Speaking of Rock and Roller Coaster.
Oh, it's not going to happen.
I know.
I want it to.
One of two things that I want to see in a retheming for Rock and Roller Coaster. Either Powerline from a Goofy movie, which there's a cult following there, Or Electric Mayhem from the Muppets.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
I wonder if this series that was on Disney Plus had done better. I wonder if that would have been a given.
Maybe. Are you then going to complain that you have a Muppets themed attraction on opposite ends of the park because you've got all the Muppet stuff over on the other side past, baseline and
Okay, yeah, possibly, but that area needs some love as well. There's a whole huge building over there that they're not using. It used to be a big store. Now it's been closed off. Hollywood Studios need some work. Oh my gosh.
It does. It does. It does. All right, Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom's got a lot going on, but not a lot of specifics have been specified. Yeah, I'm sticking with that phraseology. We know that Dinoland is going away
To Tropical Americas. Well, has that been announced?
I think that they've said they're going to do theming that looks like it's Tropical Americas.
Yeah. They've shared art, but haven't said what it's going to be.
Exactly. It's been all blue sky stuff.
Yep.
It looks like the dinosaur ride could turn into Indy. Okay, maybe.
It is the same track.
It's not
The same
exactly
base.
the same.
It's the same base.
It's the same base, 100%, 100%. I don't think they do the exact copy. And I think there's some routing of the track that's slightly different.
Yeah.
But
Something is going to happen other than dinosaur.
yes, something
They're
will
gonna
happen
change it.
other than dinosaur.
Do you think we'll hear about it? Do you think they will announce what's going to happen there?
I do. I feel really confident that this has been going on for long enough. It is time, it is due to announce what they're doing in Animal Kingdom. It's time.
That is a large area there. From the artwork that they shared, it looked like there was going to be something Encanto based as well. Maybe a ride with Casita or something. I think that'd be cool if they had a dark ride going through Casita and seeing everything Encanto-ish.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Yeah.
I love Encanto. I love the music.
I have a question for you. Speaking of all of these things and possibilities, a blue sky question, if you will.
Drink.
Joe Rohde said when he designed Animal Kingdom that it was a place for actual animals, not anthropomorphized, human-like characters that are animals. So the question I have to you, and this is kind of a Disney religion question, if you will, do you agree with that? Would you be okay with a Zootopia land, specifically in Animal Kingdom?
I would because of a couple of things. First
Okay.
off, Bugs Land, highly anthropomorphized. I totally flubbed over that. But Bugs Life is already there, was in Underneath the Tree of Life.
Fair.
And the original concept of Animal Kingdom did include Beastly Kingdom, which was a fantasy like Dragonland and stuff like that. Now,
Also
they
true.
ran out of funding, or their funding wasn't quite there what they wanted to do. But that's the reason why in the logo you see a dragon
Right.
for Animal Kingdom, because
Right.
initially that was going to be included in the park.
Now, I
No,
don't
I
think
don't have a problem with that.
I don't think the dragons were going to be anthropomorphized for whatever. That said, I mean, this is Disney. Your main things of Disney are characters that are animals that talk. So,
Yeah.
like,
And I also point to Bugs Life was already in the park.
yeah, no, that's a fantastic point. That's an interesting dichotomy. Well, I don't know that Zootopia is going to go in there. I think it
They're
could.
already going to include Zootopia, however, in the Tree of Life. They're replacing Bugs Life with Zootopia.
I want to have a Zootopia land somewhere in Florida.
Yeah.
I think personally it would fit better in Animal Kingdom than as part of Beyond Big Thunder.
Yeah. I agree. Would you want to do that rather than Tropical Americas?
I don't think this is an either or. There's a ton of room around Animal Kingdom over on that right side of the park.
And the interesting thing about Zootopia is there's so many different biomes that are included
Yeah.
in that movie itself. So
Yep.
you could do a bunch of different biomes.
100%.
Yep.
100%. All right, let's move on. Other stuff. Alicia, are they going to say anything about what they're doing with the Hulk and shell of what used to be the Galactic Star Cruiser?
I don't think they are.
Too raw, too soon. Literally too soon.
Yeah, it's too soon. I'm sure everybody wants to know what's going to happen, but I don't think they will.
Yeah. I mean, they wrote most all of that off, if not all of that off. They can't repurpose it for a couple years for tax purposes. So
They can't repurpose it, but I would think when they do repurpose it, it's still going to take a while for them to redo everything.
oh, absolutely.
So
And it's right next to Galaxy's Edge. It's right next to Star Wars Land. It's going to be difficult to do something with that space that's not integrated and pulled into Star Wars.
dinner theater.
Yeah, okay, that's great with, I mean, yeah,
For
I
one-
think you could,
the
you
one
could-
big room. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you have part of that, but then what are you going to do with the rest of the building that's all the accommodations? You had what,
Yeah.
200 rooms or something like that? 100 rooms? I don't remember the number, but
DCP.
yeah. Come to Florida, kids, take a semester off, work in Florida, stay in spas.
Stay in spas.
Yeah, we'll see.
What about, are we going to hear anything about a new DVC resort?
Oh,
Are they going to resurrect Reflections, which is a DVC lodge basically on the water that they were going to build?
I think it's eminently possible that this is in the pipeline. I could see this waiting till next year, till the Florida edition of this to announce.
Yeah.
They're still trying to finish up the Poly Tower. I don't know if the timing's right. We'll see. That said,
Poly Tower will be done by December.
it will, but I'm just thinking of like from a timing perspective of everything. Like they've still got points to sell through the Poly. They just converted the Fort Wilderness cabins over to DVC. They've got all those points to sell. Like
And Grand Floridian, they still have Aulani points to sell.
right. I don't think the time is right this year to announce DVC. That said, they will absolutely within the next year or two announce another DVC resort because they're addicted to that revenue stream.
Yep.
The sale of those points is a material impact to their fiscal operating income on an annual and quarterly basis. Like they can't just afford for DVC at this point to sell out of everything that they have and not have anything new to sell.
Yeah.
They're addicted to that revenue stream, which is fine as long as they're going to do stuff that people are going to buy. And I don't have a problem with that. I mean, Disney World is huge. I wonder if they'll do a DVC announcement of another hotel in California at some point. I don't know. Maybe as part of Forward, Disneyland Forward. That's not going to happen this year, though.
No.
That
They
is
just opened Disneyland villas at Disneyland Resort.
right, but it's always booked at this point. Like it's not a capacity problem. It's just, I think at this point, it would just be announcing something that it's not going to happen for 5 or 6 or 7 years, and that's just too early.
True.
All right, international parks. They going to announce anything for international parks?
They've just got tons of stuff. Tokyo, Disney Sea just opened Fantasy Springs. Disneyland Paris is still building the world of Frozen there. And I think something else too. Shanghai,
Just got Arendelle, right?
did they? That
Or is
was
it
Hong
Zootopia
Kong.
that's there?
That was Shanghai. Yeah, Shanghai got Zootopia. Hong Kong got Arendelle.
Okay.
And so did Tokyo. Oh my gosh. No,
All
they
the
just got
things.
tons of stuff. No notes.
no, you're done. Sit down. Not your
Yes.
turn. All right, that's fair. All right, cruise line. Disney Cruise Line has absolutely shocked me in the last couple weeks by announcing a new ship that's coming in 2029 based on the Wish class that will be in Japan.
This came out of nowhere.
This came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
They have dropped an announcement that this week, as this podcast goes out, will be 3 days of announcements of everything for the Destiny, which is going to be the third Wish class ship to come out, that will be launching sometime in late 2025, that we've now heard. These are things that I thought, I didn't see the Tokyo thing coming, but like the Destiny announcements and stuff, I thought we were going to see that here at D23.
I did too. Like we said, Disney is great at dropping things, little things, the week or two before D23. And I didn't think that was a little thing. The ship for Japan, I think that's a big announcement.
That's huge.
And I kind of think that was maybe because a leak happened. I could be wrong.
But
there was a news site in Japan that dropped the news before Disney did.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think it's interesting though, and I am going to paraphrase our friend Brian Flock from DCL Duo here. I am compelled by the argument that he made the other night. I think we're going to still see 2 ships announced here at D23. I think this is going to be 2 new ships. I think, unfortunately, these are going to be the replacements for the Magic and the Wonder. I think they will probably come out in the 2027, 28 time frame, somewhere in there. It makes me sad. I want those smaller ships to stay around.
They'd be 30 years old at that point.
My only pause is I don't know if they will be Wish class. And the pragmatist in me says they will be Wish class because they are existing blueprints that Disney can just say, yep, you've already done the Control-C to copy that blueprint and just paste it down. So instead of placing an order for 1 new Wish class ship for Japan, they're just going to do 3. That said,
but there's already going to be 4 Wish class ships.
I know. I mean, look at some of these other cruise lines. They'll have 6 or 7 of the same class. It's not necessarily
Disney prides
a problem.
itself on being very different from other cruise lines, though.
Well, they've got the Adventure. That's different.
Yeah, but they bought that from somebody else.
I know it's not necessarily better either. We participated. They had a live show on Monday night last week, and we were throwing out some thoughts in the comments that I would really love for these to be smaller ships that are in that 2,500 passenger range, just like we have for the Magic and the Wonder today. I don't think that will happen. And then I don't remember who said it, but somebody dropped it in chat, and it gave me hope that there is a cruise line, and off the top of my head right now, I can't remember who it is, that has just announced recently an order for 2 or 3 new ships that are smaller. And praise be, because I'm tired of these 6, 7, 8,000 passenger behemoths. I'm not interested in whatever Oasis of the Seas or Utopia of the Seas. Great, you have or the Disney Adventure. Great, you have these massive ships. Hard pass.
Something else to keep in mind is Alaska cannot take larger cruise ships.
Yep.
If Disney wants to continue to do Alaska in the areas that they are going to right now, they cannot do that in a Dream class or a Wish class ship. It has to be a bit smaller.
Yep. Now, I think a Dream class ship could do many of the ports in Alaska,
But
it can't go through the canal because it can't get under the bridges through the Panama Canal.
Yeah.
So this is where this is that glimmer of hope from that comment in the DCL Duo live podcast the other night on YouTube was, there's another cruise line that is building new ships that are in this 2,500-ish passenger range. Hallelujah. That tells me that it's not just a pipe dream in my head and many other people's brains where we really love these old classic smaller ships because they're more intimate. There's definitely a market for it because we're seeing other cruise lines go down the path of new ships of that size. And let's do this.
All right. Well, I hope that they do announce 2 new ships and they're a little bit smaller.
Exactly.
Maybe bigger than what the Wonder and Magic are now, but smaller than what the Dream and Fantasy are.
If you want to fit through the canal, you can't get much bigger than what the Magic and the Wonder are. Okay. There's physics involved.
Panamax.
Exactly. Neo Panamax, because it's the new Panama Canal.
Panamax. All right. I want to see a ship on the West Coast.
Permanently.
Yeah. With occasional jaunts across the Panama Canal.
Of course.
I would love to see a ship on the West Coast.
If Disney keeps building ships, then yeah. But if they're content to be a small boutique cruise line with maybe, 8, 9, 10 ships, I don't know that we'll see a cruise ship based permanently on the West Coast.
With the recent itinerary expansions that they've done, though, I think they are leaning more towards that. Going to Australia, going to New Zealand. Now they're going to be doing Japan. The occasional Hawaii ones always sell out right away. In Alaska and Mexican Riviera, there is plenty of option for them to keep something on the West Coast.
I agree. I think the fleet needs to be a tick bigger, and hopefully they go that way. From what we've heard, talking to some folks, DCL pays these ships off within a year of their maiden voyage. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is a cash cow.
With those prices, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, exactly. And, Disney has a tough job in that arena, though, in that there is a level of service and quality expectation that, as we saw when the pandemic restarted sailings and, the Wish came out, they had some struggles staffing up quality of staff and getting people ramped back up. That is a thing. It is something that they will have to get better at if they want to grow their fleet and not dilute the quality of the experience that they have. But it's possible. It's entirely possible. If they can run theme parks all around the world, they can figure out some cruise ships.
True. Well, we'll be coming back to you after D23 with what Disney has announced. And hopefully some of the things we've talked about, they will talk about too.
Absolutely. And if our cards play out the way we hope they do, we may have a very special guest on to talk about all the news that is going to come out of D23. So stay tuned. Make sure you like and subscribe so our podcast drops in your feed every week. And you'll know what's going on.
We are not affiliated with Disney or their subsidiaries. These are personal opinions and suggestions based on our own experiences. We recommend working with a travel agent or contacting Disney directly to plan your perfect vacation.
If you have questions or suggestions or would like to be interviewed on our show to share your Disney experience, please send an email to podcast@ourmousecapades.com.
You can follow us on socials. We are at Our Mousecapades. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, YouTube, and even Twitter X sometimes for now.
Please give us a rating and review in your podcast app, especially Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Those things are where everything seems to aggregate through, and it really helps people find us.
Please don't hesitate to share us with your friends and fellow Disney lovers of all ages.
Thanks for listening. We'll be in your ears next week.
Thank you for flying Star Tours. Bye-bye.